Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, December 29th. I'm Sam here with Eric and Jeff. Miss Tori has the day off. Enjoy, Tori. All right, let's get started because we are 9 months into the pandemic and a new study is looking at some of the pandemic's long-term impacts on people's lives, particularly those that are positive. First, across the board, people are disinfecting their homes more. Next, they are also spending more time cooking at home rather than eating out. People have also gotten used to working out at home, with a lot of people even building their own home gyms. Perhaps some of you already have. Finally, Americans are getting used to having their groceries delivered. So the question is, in DBL Nation, we want you to chime in as well. How has the pandemic changed your life for the better? I like that we're talking about this. Obviously, COVID and the pandemic has had, disastrous and heartbreaking trauma, considering how many people have lost their lives and how many businesses have gone bankrupt or are no longer existing. But what are some of the moments, or even when looking back, or something that you presently think of now, Erica, that you have okay, I never really thought of this until the pandemic, and I'm grateful for it?
Well, I do want to tread lightly with this conversation because I still have relatives who are in the hospital with COVID. So, but at the same time, we are looking at life very differently. And that's what I think about my interpersonal relationships. Having more time and being able to take more time to make more time. I think we realized that we were spending so much time at work, or some things can just be consolidated so that we can become closer with our families.
Yeah, I love this story. I think we focus too much on the negative, and I understand what you're going through and a lot of people are going through, but a lot of people aren't going through that, right? It affects a small percentage of the population, and I'm not trying to be mean or downplay it or any of that, but I'm trying to keep my mind positive and focused. I understand bad things are going to happen to me, to my family. I get all that, but you can't think about that every day. You have to focus on these positive things. And for me, 2020 was a positive year. Again, I'm not trying to throw that in anybody's face. I got a brand new house. I got to work on my house a lot. I got to spend a lot of time with my children. I got to build a Rocky-style gym in my basement. It's nothing great, but I got to do some amazing things that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do had it been a regular year. So I think people need to focus more on the positive, especially going into 2021, instead of reading these trigger headlines, and I understand it is affecting a small percentage of you, but reading these triggers headlines and just falling into that rabbit hole and being negative. It's so easy to do because I do it myself.
I think it's okay to have a duality of thought. I think it's okay to focus on the positive and perhaps look at your neighbor or your friend and say, wow, this has been a really great year for this person. Or perhaps also say, this has been a really crappy year. And I think it's okay for people to say that. However, where I agree with you, Jeff, to look at the silver lining. And I know that's really hard to say if you've lost a loved one or if your business has completely collapsed. It's like, I don't want to think about a silver lining considering that my life is hell right now. And I hear you, 100% hear you. But when I look back at 2020, even though there has been a lot of ups and downs, and I've had people that very close to me that have had COVID as well, and a business that has gone up and down, I look back at just being able to spend more time with my family. And that's something that I never thought I took for granted, but I definitely have taken for granted. So I'm so happy that it's reminded me, I hate that it's taken a pandemic to do that, but reminded me to really be present with my kids, to really be present with my parents, even if it's over Zoom, because tomorrow they may not be here. So I look at that and I'm grateful for it. And then also just kind of slowing down. Right? Do you feel like that you've slowed down? All three of us are people that are fast-paced.
Right.
I've slowed down. Have you guys slowed down?
You get to appreciate things. And I do want to point out, too, like, even though you might not be going through somebody, be a better neighbor. Help out your friend that is going through somebody. Help out a business that is going through something. So I'm not saying like I don't care completely about that because I know how it comes off in a quick 30-second soundbite. But help somebody. Take the opportunity to help somebody, and then when it's your time to be down, they're going to help pull you up, right?
I haven't slowed down, and I think that's the reality for a lot of people. I do things smarter than I was doing them before.
You're more efficient.
Yeah, but the truth is, there are going to be people who come out of this year in a completely elevated position because anytime there is a turnover, setback, a mentality or environment, there are going to be opportunities. And I hope that people can find an opportunity that suits them because so many things have come to light. And I honestly have been working more, but smarter.
Interesting. Very interesting. And DBL Nation, please continue to write in. We want to hear what you're going through and if there's any silver lining that you can present to us. So Reese Witherspoon is speaking out about a double standard, and we want to hear your take. The actress is reflecting back on an unscripted moment during the 2002 Oscars when she was presenting an award with her husband at the time, Ryan Phillippe. Take a look.
And the Oscar goes to...
Let me read it. Can I read it?
You make more than I do. Go ahead.
Here's what Reese said about it on the HFPA in Conversation podcast. Take a look.
So I was a little bit flummoxed in the moment, too. There's so few women that make a lot of money that sometimes they're shamed for it. And sometimes they are expected to give more and do more and be more. I think it all gets back to the point that we need to talk. You know, women need to talk about money and how they made money and not feel ashamed of it.
So the question is, are women who make more money treated differently? Do they feel shame, especially by their partner or even within themselves? Is there a double standard? Let's talk about it. Also, it's Ryan Philippi. I don't know why I mispronounced it. I apologize. I know who you are, Ryan. Okay, so Erica, what do you make of this? I know that just laying down some groundwork, gender norms are changing, right? More and more, we do have women in households, at least here in America, that are now making equal, if not more, than their partners. But this is still new, right? These are the pioneers. You look back on the way we grew up, and traditionally speaking, it's going to be the male, the father, the one making the decisions, and the mom is at home. And that's speaking traditionally and conventionally.
Right. And the reason, and it blows my mind that hasn't been the norm, so to speak, for so many years, that the idea that women wouldn't be making as much money as men, if not more, when it is warranted, is mind-boggling and a setup for failure. I personally feel like it's not a gender norm responsibility. I have been in relationships where I may have made more. I've been in relationships where I've made less. Now that becomes competition, because now I'm like, I got to catch up with you. But I think that's a healthy competition. When we're having these conversations about what's expected of women, absolutely. If men were expected to volunteer as much, to donate as much, to do all these things, but the expectation isn't there because of that former traditional role. Well, a man can't do this if he's at work from this hour to this hour. Well, a man can't do that if he's but no one accounts for, well, that might be a lot to ask of her when she has 2 children at home and a full-time job. But, you know, it's still expected because look how well you're doing, Sam.
Amen, Erica. I agree with everything Erica just said, but what's your take, Jeff?
Here's I think traditionally for men in the past, it was a pride thing, right? And a lot of my growing throughout my life, and I'm 42 now, has been breaking through my own ego, my own pride, right? So I'd have no problem with my wife making more than I do. But one thing that Reese did say was that they're expected to do more. I expect if you get paid more, gender, color, neutral, whatever it is, you should do more. That's what I think. I don't think because you're a woman that has anything to do with it. If you're getting paid more, you do more. That's
But women
in my
are
book.
expected more. I totally agree with Reese Witherspoon here. If you are paying more, first of all, there is a shame attached, and I'm glad that Reese Witherspoon brought that up. And even her daughter, I guess, went to school one day and was really embarrassed when I guess her mom's, you know how Forbes will report like the most highly paid actresses, and Reese Witherspoon was on the top of that. And Reese Witherspoon had to sit her daughter down and say, do not be embarrassed by this. Go out there, hustle, and have no shame because you deserve that money. So there is this shame that a lot of women carry if they are the ones, the breadwinner, or making equal or more money than their partner. And I want that stigma to go away.
But who's that on? Is that on the woman who's carrying that shame?
I think society instilled that in women.
Yes, absolutely. When you're a woman who is considered successful, then you are considered to be the nurturer of all things. When you're a man that's considered successful, you're expected to continue to be powerful and take care of your household. Like, you're not expected to raise the village. Women have an expectation to raise the village. And I think it's just because of gender norms.
Yeah.
But like I said, you have to maybe for a woman, and again, Al, where are you, buddy? Maybe for a woman, maybe it's something you have to get through your own pride, own ego, and push away those societal norms, right? It's something that you could accept. Because if I was with my wife, and I know our relationship, I would be totally fine with it. We've had this conversation. And I was at an award show just like that. I'd be like, well, you open it because you make more. That'd be a funny joke between us, but then other people would judge us for that?
Well, people are going to judge you for everything. Reese said it was passive-aggressive, though. But
between you and Jordan, it probably is a joke. But to Reese at that moment, she felt it was a passive-aggressive jab. That's in her own words from Ryan Philippi. So I think that's important to note, too.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you look at just in terms of, you know, organizations, like my husband and I volunteer for an organization, they're always looking for men. Like, can you find more men? So that's what I'm saying when women tend to be the nurturer of the village, that men tend to be the nurturer or the caregivers of their household.
And I agree, and I think men need to get over that, thinking that is somehow doesn't make you more of a man.
Good conversation. Coming up on DBL, wellness expert to the stars, Koya Webb. Just in time for 2021, she's showing you how to live a healthier, calmer life with eye yoga. And from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to the Tiger King's reign, we're looking back at the biggest pop culture moments of 2020.
An evening in front of them.
DBL, so 2020 has been a year unlike any other, with its fair share of buzzworthy moments. Let's look back at some of 2020's most defining moments in pop culture. So, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, retired from their roles as working royals. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex made the announcement on Instagram earlier this year. That was a big moment, Erica, and you always had to, I feel like, unpack Meghan Markle for people, because people just would follow her headlines and not really see her as substantive when she really is.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have to understand that Meghan Markle was under a full-fledged attack. It was completely unfair. It continues to be unfair, and I would really question if she were anyone else or looked any other way, if she would have had to endure that. So, yeah, I'm glad that they made that decision to Megxit.
Megxit, yes. So another big moment, Parasite won the Best Film Oscar. It made history as the first non-English language film to win that honor. This is really important because how many times have we heard, Jeff, you know, Oscar's so white, and that there's a lack of diversity. So finally we have a film, an incredible film that deserved it, but finally had a film that really did break barriers. And that does trickle down to hiring diverse writers, hiring diverse staff. It trickles down in changing the norm into everyday 9-to-5 offices.
Yeah, I agree. These award shows are getting less and less meaningful. Maybe that's the word, right?
Because of the pandemic.
Because you said Parasite, and I was like, what year was that? 2017? That was this year.
Right.
It seems crazy, right?
It's true. I know. A lot. I feel like we've all grown. In March, just as the world went into lockdown, Tiger King premiered on Netflix, making Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin some of the most talked about people this year. I've never seen it.
This is lightning in a bottle, what happened here, because the pandemic started, right? And everyone was isolated and quarantined, and then this show came out, and it was the first thing people were talking about. So they were stuck at home, and then they watched this. It was like lightning in a bottle for this show.
Do you think if it wasn't the pandemic, it wouldn't have taken off?
I think it still would have been a very popular show and probably something that people were having like a cult following with.
Yeah.
But I agree, although I do think that Love is Blind set that whole thing from Netflix.
I'm watching
Y'all
that.
have to watch it.
I'm going to start.
Yeah.
I told Jordan yesterday we got to watch it.
I will
Brought back
start.
appointment television.
Yep. And then, of course, very, very important, Black Lives Matter movement. It became a huge cultural phenomenon in 2020 with many of the world's biggest stars using their platforms to voice their support for the movement. Erica, we saw a stark contrast, right? We saw so many people first shaming Colin Kaepernick, right, for talking about Black Lives Matter. And then all of a sudden, it became accepted. Why that shift?
Well, Black Lives Matter was radicalized in terms of the messaging by a lot of people in mainstream media. It was used as a dog whistle of be afraid, they're coming to get us type thing.
Yeah.
The narrative shifted when we really started to have to collectively look at what was happening as a country. And unfortunately, although we've had so many examples of this, it was George Floyd who everyone collectively, again, everyone's watching together. The outrage was a togetherness.
Right. Yeah, well said. All right, we'll be right back.
People are wearing
Welcome back to DBL. In a couple days, we are going to welcome a new year. Yes, hallelujah. If you're looking to kickstart 2021, health expert Koya Webb shared some tips with Al and Tori earlier. Take a look.
Koya, thank you so much for joining DBL. You've worked with celebrity clients like Stevie Wonder, Diddy, I sound cool saying that, and Ashley Judd. So do their health goals, celebrities, differ from the rest of us, or are they exactly the same?
I think they're exactly the same. I mean, everyone wants to be healthy, but they don't want to do the work. Like, we want to do what we want to do and eat what we want to eat and not necessarily work out unless we have to. But the truth is, they know. And I try to tell my clients, you have to do, if you want the results, you got to do the work.
Oh, so true.
All right, now, Koya, I'm gonna be honest. I used 2020 to kind of get myself in shape.
I got sober,
stopped drinking. There's so many diets and there's so many things where you talk to somebody and they're like, you look great, and they're like, oh, I did keto. Oh, I do intermittent fasting. Like, what is a fad? What is good? What is sustainable over a lifetime? Like, can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
think That's amazing at this time. And honestly, the best thing is like a whole food plant-based diet. Different things will work for periods of time. Scientifically, they'll get you short-term results. But if you're in it for the long-term results, you want to really focus on plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. And you want the least amount of hands to touch it as possible. So intermittent fasting is also good. That means you go through a period of the day where you stop eating.
Intermittent fasting is like the name of my nightmare. But I do understand that, like, I do hear you that it does. Some people who work here actually do it, and it actually works really well.
Yeah, you just have to go to bed early. Like, you're gonna find me in bed at 5:15 at night just so I won't eat.
I have a hack for you. When it comes to intermittent fasting, it still works if you just do liquids. So if you're just doing liquids, and this is what I do because I get 6 to 8 hours of sleep, but on the days I get 6 hours of sleep, I make sure when I wake up, I drink 32 ounces of water, put a little lemon or lime in it, and then I'll have green juices until my scheduled time to eat. So if you're not eating anything solid, you're still cleansing, your digestion is still getting a break, but you're not starving and being hangry. So that's the hack.
That's really good hack that I can look into. Now, you recently did an eye yoga video.
Are there any areas that need a little bit more of your attention?
For Gwyneth Paltrow's wellness and lifestyle brand Goop, I was wondering if you could give us a little eye yoga lesson today.
Of course, I love to. Eye yoga is great because it reduces eye strain, and we're all in front of our computers minimum 3 to 4 hours a day. So this eye yoga I recommend every single day. And all you have to do is just close your eyes and look down, all the way down as far as you can down with your eyes closed. And now look to the right, as far as you can to the right, eyes closed. And then look up, as far as you can up. And then look to the left. And then look down. Now going counterclockwise, create big circles, massaging your eyes on the back of your eyelids. Big circles around, and then big circles the opposite direction. Now rub your hands together. This is the last part. Just rub the hands together. Oh yeah, I hear you rubbing. And now place the fingertips on, just gently place the fingertips on the eyelids and just massage back as far as feels comfortable to you while looking left and right. This is giving yourself an eye massage.
Whoa.
I thought this was, like, I didn't really know where this was going.
Me neither.
I like this. I could do this in the morning because it also kind of helps you kind of set your goals for what you want to get done that day with no outside stimulus, so.
This is great.
I like this eye massage.
Koya, you've been wonderful to talk to. I'm getting your book. For those of you wanting to learn more, visit koyaweb.com. Get the book, join in, get loved up. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, love.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Research.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. Okay, so many of you chiming in about the silver lining of the pandemic. I noticed more that people started taking off their shoes before entering their houses. I've been giving gifts to my neighbors' kids. Love that. I'm liking the masks from Muhammad. And Leslie said, when the pandemic hit, my daughter started sidewalk chalk art that got a lot of attention. Then they went to rock art. A lot more playing outside, too.
Yeah.
You know, bike rides, walks, family time. Thank you for sharing, DBL Nation. DBL is new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Thank you.